I do call him Black Jesus.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I will never call him that.
That's disgusting. If you eat
No.
if you eat Hershey's bar for fun, you like golf balls in your mouth.
Really weird. So, I'm a really simple guy when it comes to women. What is wrong with you?
I ask myself that every day.
I don't know what the hell happened from the series before to the series with the Celtics.
It's my biggest conversation, and I hope we go viral with this one.
Princess in the Frog.
You're drunk. You should not be
I'm
drinking.
drunk.
You should not be drinking this early in the day, bro.
Buddy, I still got 30 minutes. I start drinking.
Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it may be, and welcome into your favorite podcast, the Gumball Sports Machine Podcast, the podcast in which we love, we laugh, we hug, we cry, we smile, and most importantly, we are positive. And as usual, this ship does not run on just me, on just the gas that I provide. This ship comes along with some very, very good people, some very interesting people, and some very entertaining people, one of which is my guy, my dog, my boy, David Largo, a.k.a. co-host D-Lo, has entered the chat. David, how are you doing?
Man, living a dream. Not my dream, though. Somebody else's.
Somebody else's dream. Hey, listen, you know what? It's got to be somebody's dream. You know what I mean? And so why not be somebody else's you living it? Now, does that make sense? Absolutely not. Not even a
No,
little bit.
not at all. Yeah,
But
I wasn't
we're
going to
We're gonna
question
go. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and move on and get to the expert of the show. The expert into when you talk about football and you talk about basketball, there's nothing that this gentleman is not familiar with within those two sports. He is our GSM expert. He is Killer Kyson, my dog, my boy. Kyson, what's happening?
What's good with y'all boys, man? Weird weekend, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all know, let the fans know, I got 4 fantasy leagues. Yes, I'm a fantasy addict. I will pick up a 5th league, like probably week 8. I usually do like a middle of the season league, but I got 4 leagues right now. I thought I was gonna go 0-4, but we went 3-1 by the grace of the big guy. We went 3-1, so clap it up for me. Clap it up. 3-1.
Hey, to turn an 0-4 into 3-1 is pretty impressive.
Hey,
That's
football is a
that's
crazy
next level.
sport.
That is for sure. Speaking of which, fellas, we made our first ever weekly NFL picks during week 6. And let's just go ahead and take a look at those picks right now. As we see, I don't want to brag too much. I went 3-1. I won this week in terms of this show. I picked the Broncos over the Jets, the Bills over the Falcons, which apparently the Bills offense doesn't work anymore, and the Rams over the Ravens, and the Bucks over the San Francisco 49ers. I went 3-1. The only team that lost for me was the Buffalo Bills. D-Lo went 2-2. He picked the Packers over the Cincinnati Bengals. He picked the Lions over the Chiefs. He picked the Seahawks over the Jaguars. And he picked the Commanders over the Bears. And Kyson also went 2-2. He picked the Pats over the Saints, the Chargers over the Dolphins, the Titans over the Raiders, and the Cowboys over the Panthers. Fellas, how are we feeling about our picks? How are we feeling about the first week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there were some gimmies in there that lost, like the Bills and losing to the Falcons. Like, who would have picked, right?
If Josh Allen decided to show up to the game, I would have went 4-0.
Yeah, so I mean, there were little games like that, but yeah, I kind of screwed myself in the foot. I told you I was picking the controversial games, and I picked them wrong. So it happens.
Yeah, Kyson, how do you feel about your first week?
Tennessee disappointed me, man. Dallas is Dallas. I mean, didn't really expect much there, but Tennessee really did disappoint me. They just seemed like they didn't want to play. They weren't very interested in the game, which is why their coach got fired. And I'm also hearing Jeffrey Simmons, their top D tackle, saying that this is the worst week of practice they've had all season, and it showed. I mean, Raiders was looking good out there. Gino only threw 1 interception, which is good for him.
That's it.
He's been throwing 3 per game. He only threw one, so that should tell you everything you need to know. But but I'm confident that we'll go 4-0 this week.
Yeah, and one
Yeah.
thing I want to say before we move on is that I also picked the Cowboys in my weekly pick'ems, and I will never do it again. Because how do you lose to Carolina?
Yeah.
How do you let Rico Dowdle run for 183 yards?
Listen, hold on. Okay, Rico Dowdle just rushed for 206 the week prior, and it's
That's
against those team,
fine.
the Cowboys.
That's fine and all, but this was a revenge game. You got to stop the former Cowboy from getting 183 yards on you. They had no pride whatsoever.
Oh
Ridiculous,
man,
man.
yeah. Hey, listen, last week I tried to warn y'all. I said, Rico, look, he's going against his former team. He's hot. He's feeling it right now. And obviously, coming off a 200-yard rushing game, goes out and rushes for 183 on a back-to-back or on back-to-back weeks and going against his former team. Man, I had a
Yeah.
feeling he was gonna go off. I didn't think he was gonna go that much off.
And it's
But
not like he was getting like these small pickups either. He was averaging 6 yards a carry. Like,
yeah, it was
yeah.
wild. It was wild. All right, fellas, let's get into some of these games. Now, again, as we usually do, we talk about my boys, and they looked a lot better. But they did still lose. The Cardinals go into Indianapolis this weekend, and they lose 31 to 27 to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the big story of the game was the offense for the Cardinals looked a lot better. They looked a lot better. Only problem was they looked about a lot better under their backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett had a very, very good game. Yeah, that's on me. That's on
Oh,
me.
it wasn't the Wi-Fi. You see, you do this.
Nah.
You do this once every like 5 shows, where you don't plug in your laptop and it dies.
I genuinely don't know how I keep forgetting.
No, this is
Don't
me on
need to.
2K. My controller died. I had to hurry plug that shit in.
Oh, bro. No, bro. Where the charger? Bro, the thing is, bro,
Oh
I keep
God.
plug mine into the PlayStation, so I got to go look for one. But oh man, all right. Well, I guess that
Yeah,
enough
go
dragging.
go
We have to
ahead.
talk
Yeah,
about this
cut
team.
that off.
All right, fellas. Let's finally talk about these Arizona Cardinals. Now, the offense looked as great as it has looked all season. The problem is, fellas, the starting quarterback, QB1, was not in the lineup. He was hurt. Kyler Murray missed this game due to a foot injury. And Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good. He threw for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, which it was an awkward interception. It wasn't exactly too bad. But he is the first quarterback to throw for over 300 yards since 2022, fellas. That was a little worrisome to hear. Kyler Murray, of course, was the last person to do that, but it's been 3 years since he's done it. The Colts looked like they have all season. Jonathan Taylor looked absolutely amazing. 21 for $123 and a touchdown. Daniel Jones rushed it for a little bit. He got in the end zone. Tyler Warren looked really, really good. Their rookie tight end, who has become slowly but surely one of the best tight ends in football to start the year. But boys, let's start with my team, man. Let's start with them. Like I mentioned, this offense has looked better than it has all season long under Jacoby Brissett. Is there a quarterback controversy in Arizona, D'Lo?
I wanna specify here. The passing offense has looked the best that it has all year. The run game still is not there. Um, Michael Carter, 9 for 34, 3.8 a carry. It's not going to get it done. Knight, 11 for 34, 3.1 yards a carry. He's not going to get it done. So when you look at it, yeah, the passing offense is, it looks really good. Even with Marv going out of the game, obviously he went out for concussion protocol. But they were still able to move the ball. And that's something that you love to see because Kyler hasn't been doing it. And I think that this is sort of the turning point where a lot of Arizona fans are going to look and say, this is the point. You know, there's not getting it done anymore. it probably should just be a change of scenery, and we should, you know, go out and look for our next QB. So I personally think that Kyler's time is over, especially with how the Cardinals have started this year. Because Jacoby Brissett looked good, and it's not like Indianapolis doesn't have a bad defense. They have a really good defense over there. So yeah, I think it just symbolizes that Kyler's done in Arizona.
Kyson, now, D'Lo, I'm glad you mentioned that because that might have been the game where it says, okay, Kyler's time in Arizona might be counting down. In terms of this season, Kyson, and the way that Jacoby Brissett looked in the passing game, that's a great point, D'Lo. The run game still is just non-existent for whatever reason. But in terms of what the passing game looked like against a very, very good Colts defense, Kyson, should the Cardinals make a change right now in this season? Should they keep Jacoby Brissett at quarterback for the rest of the year?
I think that's a tough call to make right now. I know I've been reading the comments, I've been seeing the discourse with the entire fan base in Arizona saying Jacoby looks 10 times better and things of that nature. But man, money is still money. You still owe Kyler a lot of money, and this is still his team. Now, Jacoby, yes, I agree. He looks better in the offense, and he looked more in command of the team in general. It seemed like the team believed in him, and he took that and ran with it, and it looked good. But we have to keep in mind that for Jacoby, he gets a game plan, and Kyler gets a game plan. Their game plans are not similar due to the fact that they are two complete different players. Now, one thing I will say, I will always look at things uh, further than stats and the actual play. I'm gonna look at body language. Again, it seemed like Jacoby just had more command of the offense, more command of the team. The team was rallying for him to get it done. But Jacoby showed why he was a backup at the end. He could not get it done on that last drive, and he had ample opportunities. Just, just couldn't get it done. And um, for Kyler, it often seems like he doesn't want to be there. He's uh, it's almost like he's doing a 9 to 5 when he plays quarterback for this team. So that's something that I would pay attention to. But when Kyler comes back, put him back out there. I mean, it's simple as that. I think Jacoby has shown who he is, and um, again, yes, I know he had a great game. I'm with y'all against a coach defense that's I won't say great, but it's pretty solid defense. Um, but the thing that Jacoby was able to do that Kyler isn't is throw those balls in the middle of the field, and that's just something Kyler can't do due to the fact that he's pretty short. So, um, with all that being said, though, I still think you throw Kyler out there, he gives it his best shot, and like as D'Lo said, I think the inevitable, regardless if the season turns out good or bad, Kyler's on his way out.
Both of you made some really, really, really good points in terms of Kyler's future with the Arizona Cardinals. In terms of this season, the biggest thing to me is that Jacoby Brissett is a backup quarterback. Now, the positive that I believe could come away in terms of Kyler Murray from this game against the Colts was Kyler was watching Jacoby run the offense, and he was watching the reads that he was making, and he was watching Jacoby stand in the pocket, and if he had to take a hit in order to make a throw, he took that hit. Kyler is obviously not willing to take those hits because of his size, because of his stature, which makes sense. But at the same time is counting down. Time is counting down in terms of, okay, is Kyler your guy? Is Kyler going to win you a Super Bowl? Is Kyler going to run your franchise for the long term? This is year 7 for Kyler Murray. That's the biggest thing. This is year 7. He's played in one playoff game. He played horribly in that playoff game. The Cardinals got absolutely blown out in that playoff game. And even that same season, they started off 7-0 and ended the season 11-6. So they ended off the season terribly, which they are very, very well known for doing. Now, maybe he can turn around this season and see what Jacoby did. And you're like, you know what? I saw when Jacoby made those reads. I saw how he made those reads. I saw him getting the ball to Zay Jones. I haven't heard Zay Jones' name since he's been a Cardinal, I haven't heard his name that much. And Jacoby Brissett was able to get the ball to him as much as he did. Jacoby Brissett is a backup at the end of the day, like both of you mentioned. Kyler should not be worried about his starting job. Jacoby played well for this game, but that's what you go out and get Jacoby Brissett for a game that you need to at least compete in or go win a game. He's an NFL vet. He's been doing this for a long time. He is a professional backup quarterback. And that's what he did on Sunday. He went out and he performed for the Cardinals, gave them a chance to win. Unfortunately, didn't walk away with the win. If possibly the referees just opened their eyes on the field, you don't have to put glasses on. Just open your eyes. You can see that Trey McBride was being held. But like Kyson did mention, they did have multiple opportunities to either go win the game offensively or could get a stop defensively. And they just weren't able to do that. And so because of that, fellas, I just don't know if Kyler has a future long-term with this team, because you saw what Jacoby Brissett did, and it doesn't exactly look great for Kyler, because once again, this offense hasn't looked as good as it did on Sunday all the entire season with Kyler Murray behind the center. So that's the part where I'm struggling with. Let's move on to the Colts, because this looks like a very good football team, fellas. This looks like a very, very good football team, and not just a fluke. They look like the real deal. Now, I understand that they played the Cardinals on Sunday, who are not a very good football team. On the field, on paper, they're a lot better than they are on the field. But again, Daniel Jones, he didn't have an amazing game. He didn't have eye-popping numbers. 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, a really, really bad interception he threw to Mac Wilson. I don't know if he just thought he could get it over him, or if he didn't think Mac Wilson could jump over a phone book. Whatever the case may be, he threw it right to Mac Wilson and threw that pick. But Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown, 6 yards a carry. I mean, he looks like the Jonathan Taylor of 2 or 3 years ago when he was arguably the best running back in football, D'Lo. And I know you've kind of been harping on Jonathan Taylor and saying that he's returned to form and he's back. Is this the best team in the AFC South, D'Lo, when you look at it? When you look at the Colts, the Texans, the Jags, and the Titans, could the Colts win this division?
This might be a very bold claim, but right now I feel like they're the best team in the AFC, period, not just in the AFC South.
Wow.
Now, again, this is kind of like a Detroit situation where it's going to come down to, can Daniel Jones not turn the ball over? Kind of like Jared Goff, you kind of want him to be this game manager. It's been 6 games. I don't trust Daniel Jones to be this elite level quarterback and go out there and, just completely win the game on his own. So if Daniel Jones can keep playing at the way that he is, and he doesn't turn the ball over, like Jamal mentioned, that really nasty turnover that he had, I think that the Colts could be vying for not only the AFC South division, but even further in the playoffs. Because again, I've been saying, Jonathan Taylor is trying to reclaim his status as a top 3 running back in the league, and I think he's doing a damn good job of it. In my opinion, he's been their best running back all year, and he's on a tear. And Jamal mentioned the 2 touchdowns, but Daniel Jones also had a rushing touchdown. So he had 3 total touchdowns to his 1 turnover, which good ratio. So again, I like the defense that they got going on. I love the rookie tight end. Still can't believe the Bears went the other
Colson
direction.
Loveland. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the team is they just look really good so far. And I know we say it's the Cardinals, but we're not going to act like the Cardinals were, just like the be all end all of scrubs, like especially on the defensive end. They're still a good defense.
They are. And Daniel Jones and especially Jonathan Taylor lit that defense up. Most points they've allowed all season long for the Cardinals. Going into this game, they actually led the NFC in points per game allowed. So that tells you what that says about the Cardinals defense just as much as it tells you about Daniel Jones and what he did to the Cardinals defense alongside Jonathan Taylor. Speaking of Daniel Jones, Kyson, when you look at Daniel Jones and the rest of the quarterbacks in the AFC South, do you think he has taken that best quarterback in the AFC South title? Do you think he's better than CJ Stroud? He's better than Trevor Lawrence. Do you think he has reached that level yet?
Well, one thing we got to do is give credit where credit is due. And we got to acknowledge the fact that Daniel Jones has made the playoffs before. He has had success in this league before. And the thing about it is that I'm not a believer in the Colts as much as D'Lo is. I think the Jaguars have something to say about being the best team in the AFC South right now. That defense is playing phenomenal. Yes, they lost against the Seahawks, but that was because they beat themselves. Turnovers, just petty mistakes. They held the Seahawks to 20. Um, so with that being said, I think Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, and Daniel Jones are all like right here. Like they're in the same class. I don't think anyone is taking the head lead just yet. Um, but Daniel Jones has made the playoffs. So has Trevor Lawrence, and CJ Stroud has made the playoffs twice and has won two playoff games. So when we look at the totality of it, I can't give Daniel Jones that title just yet. But on the flip side, the Colts are playing great. They're playing good football. Like I said, they're solid defensively. They give up a big play here or there, but overall, they take care of business. And you know, I think that and able to hold this lead in the AFC South, they gotta, like D'Lo said, not turn the ball over. Rely on Jonathan Taylor and that amazing offensive line. They got one of the best guards in football, just beating people up, and yeah, they're playing some good football.
Yeah, the Colts are very interesting. I think if they're able to run the ball and if they're able to play defense and stop the other team from scoring a whole bunch of points, I think Daniel Jones, I mean, let's not forget, fellas, Daniel Jones was a top 10 overall pick. He was very, 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 very good at Duke. And he was a top 10 pick for a reason. And so now that he's getting that opportunity, he's not in that New York media. He's not getting the same attention that he was in New York. It might be it's looking a little different for Daniel Jones, and it looks a little different for Sam Darnold as well in Seattle. So, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's move down south, fellas. Let's move to Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat D'Lo's San Francisco 49ers 30-19. Mac Jones did what he did. He will do eventually. He threw two picks. One of them, Kendrick Bourne took responsibility for. I think it looked like an option route. He picked the wrong option. He had him on the out and just stopped. That was one of the picks, but Mac Jones will turn the ball over. He will. That's his Achilles heel. Couldn't really get the run going. Was for San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey 17 for 54. Kendrick Bourne again five catches, 142 yards. So he was that deep threat down the field for Mac Jones. He did throw for a lot of yards. Mac Jones did 347. He was efficient. Again, it was the two interceptions that really, really hurt him. On the other side of things, the winning team, Baker Mayfield, 256 yards passing for 2 touchdowns and a few very, very nice plays. In the meantime, an 80 QBR and 139.0 passer rating. They got the run game going a little bit. Wasn't great. Baker really made some plays when he had to. The defense also really stepped up for Tampa Bay. But the biggest story probably of this game, fellas, is one of, if not the best defensive players in football, in Fred Warner, did go out with an ugly, ugly, ugly ankle injury. I believe it was ankle. And he will be out for the rest of the season. D'Lo, this is your team, obviously. You are very familiar with the San Francisco 49ers. How important is Fred Warner to that team, and how big of a loss is he for the rest of the year?
I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up how it is. This season for the Niners is over. They could make the playoffs. They could win a game or two, sure, whatever. There's nothing left here. And I want to bring everybody's attention back to the Super Bowl a few years ago, where Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles running onto the field. And from then on, it's just like the momentum was sapped from the team. This is what it does. This is what this injury is for the Niners now. Fred Warner is the backbone of this defense. And without him, the defense just won't function like it's supposed to. Understand Robert Saleh is still there. He's still going to try and scheme some stuff up, but it's really it, right? And without that general out there, there's nothing really going on. So you lose the best linebacker in football. You lost Nick Bosa to an ACL a few weeks ago. And really, there's nothing here. The offense is banged up. Now the defense is banged up. We're paying a lot of players to do nothing now. So I think this also speaks towards the future. What are we going to do? We're paying a lot of players a lot of money. And for whatever reason, the injury team over there cannot find a way to get things under control. And I get that this one in particular is just one of those freak accidents. But something's going on over there in San Francisco because nobody can stay healthy on the field. Your mic's out.
Oh, there we go.
There it
But
is.
no, it's rough over there. Starting quarterback George Kittle should be coming back here soon. Ironically, the guy that's staying healthy is Christian McCaffrey, and he's usually the guy that's never healthy. But it's tough. It's tough over there in San Francisco. It's injury riddled. You are still 4-2, so you do have a chance to go make the playoffs. Slide into a wild card spot. I do think this is the Rams' division to lose in the NFC West. Let's talk about those Buccaneers. When you look at the Buccaneers, Kyson, Baker Mayfield looks good. He looks like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to go even a step further than that. Right now, with the way he's playing, Kyson, would you name Baker Mayfield the MVP through the first 6 weeks of the NFL?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I will give him MVP. And I've always, been a slight fan of Baker. The only slight I had against Baker was that they used to say that he was better than Lamar Jackson, and I just didn't like that. But other than that, he's a solid quarterback. He brought the Browns out of the depths of QB hell just for them to ship him off, and he went through his trials and tribulations at Carolina and Los Angeles and things of that nature. But he's found a home here in Tampa Bay, and it doesn't matter who you put out there. He had Tej Johnson getting a touchdown, Sterling Shepard. He had K. Otten back in the offense, and I think Mike Evans is scheduled to return this week, so he'll get his main guy back. Mecca, he did get banged up, hamstring. It's looking like he might be out for a few weeks. But other than it really doesn't matter though. I mean, that's how good this guy's been. He's been throwing to just about any and everybody, and make sure everyone is well fed, and that's all you can really ask for a good quarterback. What we praise Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar for is getting it done no matter who's out there. We remember Lamar was throwing to Seth Roberts and Willie Snead and Miles Boykins before he had this crew he got now. And Baker's in that era right now. He's in that era to where it doesn't matter who's out there, he's going to get them the ball, get them touchdowns, and most importantly, get his team wins. And that's all you really can ask for. Um, right now, I think it's him, Patrick Mahomes, just because he's the best quarterback doing good right now. Josh Allen, yeah, he's looked rough these past few weeks, but you can't count him out. And Dak Prescott, he's doing what Joe Burrow did with the Bengals last year. He's carrying that
Yeah.
offense. I mean, you got to call it
Yeah.
how it is. That defense is not helping him at all. He's keeping a team afloat, averaging 30, 40 a game. But with all that being said, Baker, he's leading the league in game-winning drives, um, and he's balling right now. He's my MVP right now for sure.
Yeah, Baker is obviously, we all know what MVP stands for. he is quite literally the most valuable player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because when you talk about a guy that is doing everything for that team in terms of running the football, throwing the football. I mean, he had a fantastic run yesterday to get a first down. He had another really good run against Houston on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago to get another first down. And in the meme that he was talking to C.J. Gardner Johnson, he has done everything for this team. He is the heart and soul of this team. And not only that, but he's playing some really good football, especially when you, again, like they mentioned, RB1 is out. Wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 all went out. So you were throwing touchdowns to guys like Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson. Baker Mayfield is having the best year of his career by far. By far. And he was really good last year. Really good last year. But the thing is he going to be able to sustain it the whole season? We've seen guys start seasons really hot. Trust me, I've seen it here personally, locally. I've seen guys start the season really hot and then slow down towards the end of the season because they just get worn out. He has to do everything. Like I said, he has to run the ball. He's throwing the ball to guys that he's pulling out of the crowd. Can you do it the entire season? And that's going to be the biggest thing for me in terms of MVP conversation. Like the guys that are in that conversation right now and the Patrick Mahomes of the world, the Josh Allens of the world, those guys have done it. And those guys have consistently done it for a long time. Can Baker Mayfield keep up with those guys? Can he continue to win games even if he doesn't have his main guys, his running backs, his top 3 receivers? Can you continue to win games like that? If he does, that MVP trophy will be awarded to him with no problem, especially with the voters fatigue and how well, and they just want something different. They will gladly hand the MVP trophy to Baker Mayfield. But will he be able to sustain it for the entire season is the most important thing. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fellas, are one of the best teams at football, let alone the NFC, one of the best teams in football at the very moment. And I think if they keep going, Todd Bowles has a very good chance to win Coach of the Year.
We're going to make an MVP joke on, the MVP being the most valuable quarterback, not the most valuable player.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Because JT's making a run for his money.
He is. No, he is. And you know who also could be making a run? Jason. And that's not just me saying that because he's a Buckeye. He is playing some amazing football. Amazing football. And so if we're talking about guys that could win it that aren't quarterbacks, those 2 names would be the first names to pop up on that list in terms of Jonathan Taylor and Jackson Smith and Jigba. All right, fellas, let's get to the Los Angeles Rams and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this was a football game. It was ugly. It was gritty. It was nasty. But the Rams did end up coming out on top, 17-3. Stafford didn't do very much. He didn't need to do very much. 181, a touchdown. 17-26 wasn't amazing, wasn't great. They ran the ball okay. Kyron Williams, 13 for 50, a touchdown. It was just an okay game. It was an okay game. Puka Nacua did leave this game with an ankle injury, I believe it was. So there's a good possibility that he will be out for the next few weeks. And on Baltimore side of things, they can't move the ball. I mean, they just can't move the ball. And Kyson, when obviously this is your team, and you're very familiar with this team. Derrick Henry ran the ball. I mean, when you look at his stats, 24 carries, 122 yards, 5 yards a carry. Those are Derrick Henry stats. And then when you look up the number of points they put up, it is 3 off of those 122 yards. And then you see 2 quarterbacks that came in and both threw for under 100 yards. Kyson, what is going on with this team? Obviously, Lamar Jackson is out, but I mean, Lamar Jackson can't do everything. What is going on with the Ravens?
I mean, like I told y'all on the last podcast, I told y'all that I was just looking for one thing only, really, and that was my defense. So I'm gonna start by being positive and giving my defense flowers where it was due. Okay, I literally said it's gonna be 37-24, some crazy score, but it was 17-3, and it could have easily been something different if it weren't for us turning the ball over. Zay Flowers, 2 fumbles, Cooper Rush, interceptions. just the same old, same old. Um, just to give people a quick summary, it, it was 3-3. We had two opportunities to kick field goals. We didn't. We go for it. Don't get them on both times. And I get it. John Harbaugh, he wants to fire his team up by saying, hey, let's go for it. No, we need to score. We need to put points on the board. Let's not waste Derrick Henry's chances. And another thing, when we do get to the goal line, we don't give him the ball. We trust Cooper Rush over Derrick Henry. So it's just the same problems we've been having, but defensively improvement. It was a lot of improvement. We held them to 17 points. It was rainy. Um, and that's something we could build on going into the bye. I think everyone in Baltimore and everyone that's a Ravens fan all over is just come on, Lamar, let's go. We got a game against the Bears. The Bears are rolling. That won't be an easy game. And Lamar won't fix everything. No, he won't. But just having him there is gonna give us a sigh of relief. But with that being said, we like Diop said, you play bad football at least 1-5. And it's just the same old coaching. Players out of position, players not confident where they are. So when you're not confident, you're not gonna want to go 100% so you don't hurt yourself. They're making business decisions, and it's starting to show. But Jamal, I'm with you. Lamar cannot fix everything, but I still got faith. I still have faith in my squad, my team. I think we can make the playoffs, but at what cost? You know, at what cost does it like us making the playoffs, us making it right? Unless we get a bowl out of it, you know. So I'm keeping my chin up, man.
Yeah, I think at this point, if Lamar is not 100%, you don't bring him back. If he's not 100%, you can't bring him back. The team is 1-5. They are, at second or third. Maybe they're tied for last in the division. Yeah, if he's not 100%, you don't bring him back because if he can't go win you games to go in the playoffs, there's no reason to put him out there and risk further injury. David, when you look at the Rams team, they didn't look great, but they won the game. They won the game. Their defense obviously stood up tall. Only allowed 3 points. They did give up a lot to Derrick Henry. Is that kind of the only thing I would look at? And maybe the run defense is a little skeptical. But I mean, they won the game. They won the game, and obviously you lose Puka Nacua for who knows how long. It's looking like a few weeks. And I mentioned it earlier. Do you also believe that the NFC West is the Rams division to lose?
Yeah, it is. And the thing is that I really think that there's only one team in competition, and it's Seattle. I think Seattle is the only team currently that would be vying for the division, and that's coming from a Niner fan. I just I don't have any faith in my team at this point. But
Me and you both.
I mean, it's not like the Rams still don't have talent, right? Kyron Williams has failed to get it going, but it's Kyron, and I was never a big fan of his, even from a few years ago when he was going off. But I think now you're starting to see it. But they still have receiving threats, right? They still have Tyler Higbee. They still have Devontae Adams. They still have these guys that can go out and make plays. And so, in terms of Matt Stafford, like I'm not worried. Matt Stafford is one of those QBs where he can get the ball to anybody, and it's not going to be a problem. Um, the main gripe, like Jamal said, is that run defense. I get it's Derrick Henry, but um, against this Ravens offense, which really struggles, and you kind of only had to limit the one player because Cooper Rush is not beating you, and they couldn't do it. So that is a little worrying, but I also think that the offense is high powered enough to sort of overcome those deficits. So Yeah, I think it's their division to lose. I think Seattle has a really good shot. We mentioned JSN. He's having a phenomenal year, and him and Sam Darnold have developed a really good connection out in Seattle. So I think that they're the only team that's gonna upset them if it happens.
Hey
Yeah,
Jamal,
it's
real
gonna be
quick,
interesting to see. Uh-huh.
real quick. Lamar, he has to come back. He has no choice. He's already
Kyson,
missed.
if
He's
he if
already
he's not
missed.
100%, I'm not
He's
bringing him
already
back though.
missed. He's already missed 2 half seasons. He's already missed a whole season basically combined in games. He cannot. He has to come back. We're talking about a
If
Hall of Famer. He cannot miss a whole year again. He cannot do that.
I
but
And this is a
agree.
if you go
contract.
down one in six,
This is a contract year. Lamar, this is a negotiation year. How much challenges got? Lamar's looking at that like, hey man,
you gonna tell
y'all
me even
see?
if he misses the season, you ain't gonna pay him?
No. Well. I would say if he just doesn't come back, because Lamar wasn't that hurt. Let's just keep it a bug. He wasn't that hurt. He's not season-ending hurt. Not even close.
Okay.
He was just like, look, let me just get this right. Because it's not looking good. Let me get this right. So when I do come back, we got way easier schedule. Let's knock this out. I think that's his mindset. He looked eager to get out there
Yeah.
against the Rams.
And the
So
thing for me is that this is we talked about it last week. This is the most wide open that the AFC has been in years. If Lamar is going to go and win a Super Bowl, this is the year. Because
Not
look
unfortunately,
at it right now. Because the Bills' offense has struggled the past 2 weeks. They've got some problems to figure out. The Chiefs' first couple of weeks were really rough, and now they're starting to find it a little bit.
see that's the
But
thing though, D'Lo.
it's not all there yet.
The Chiefs are the favorites in the AFC right now, in my opinion, because they just if they can get in, it's over. If they get in, there's no team that can beat them in the playoffs when it matters. Not
See,
I'm
even
we
us.
glad you
said
said that, Kyson.
we
Oh
said the
boy, I'm glad
same.
you said that.
We said the same thing last year, and guess what happened? The Eagles curb stomped them in the Super Bowl.
Who beat him in AFC?
Nobody beat them in the AFC. I
So what
understand
makes you
that,
think that's gonna change?
but
I think
we said no team would beat the Chiefs if they make the playoffs, and we saw it last year. The Eagles curb stomped them,
They did. They
and
did.
who
there's
knows?
just no team in the AFC built like that right now to defeat
You know
Patrick
what?
Mahomes.
To that point, let's get to that game because oh boy, do I have some feelings about that football game. Now, the Chiefs did go into or not go. They stayed. They were home. They were in Arrowhead, and the Detroit Lions came in there and got BTA. They came in there and got BTA. Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes. He looked like the greatest quarterback in the NFL, currently playing 257, 3 passing touchdowns, another one rushing, and he let everybody know why he is the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. That final score was 30-17. Patrick Mahomes, 257, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. He also ran for another 32. Alongside Travis Kelce with 6 receptions, 78 yards, and he led the team in terms of receiving yards. This team is the best team in the East, right? In the East. This team is the best team in the AFC right now. Point blank, period. Now, I don't care what their record says. Their record says 3-3. There are teams with better records. There are the Steelers. There are teams with better records in the NFC. That's fine. That's cool. Does any one of them have Patrick Mahomes? Okay. Listen, that's all I'm worried about. That's all I'm worried. You give me Patrick Mahomes and you give me a playoff and you give me a playoff spot, anything, they can win. They can win. If I have 15 in red, they can win. And he's shown that year after year after year. It is now 7 straight AFC championships he has gone to since he became the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's think about that. 7 AFC championships in a row. The Cowboys hasn't made a NFC championship since the 90s. It is 2025. For someone like Patrick Mahomes to come into the Chiefs in his first year to start and make an AFC championship, go up against Tom Brady, and then go to 6 more in a row is absolutely insane. So right now, if that defense looked the way it did on Sunday night in prime time, now Chris Jones has this elbow injury. He looked like he was okay, but if that defense looked the way it is, with Steve Spagnuolo doing his thing, Chris Jones doing his thing, Trent McDuffie doing his thing, Brian Cook doing his thing, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, if those guys make the plays that they've been making for years, this team is the favorite in the AFC. They're the best team in the AFC. You can say the Steelers are 5-1 all you want to. All you want to. That 72-year-old man they got playing quarterback, is he going to be able to do it going into the playoffs? Is he going to be able to compete with Mahomes? Is he going to be able to compete with Josh Allen? Listen, this team is absolutely dangerous. Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes again. The Chiefs look like the Chiefs again. And they've shown it multiple times. They showed you against the Ravens. They showed you against the Lions. Now, again, they still do have 3 losses, who are not pretty losses for them to go through. But they just did the Lions like this. The Lions who have been playing well for most of the season. Obviously, they had that week 1 loss against Green Bay in which they looked awful. But the Chiefs look like the Chiefs once again. Now, Kyson, when you look at this team, you were talking about the Chiefs and how they are the best team in the AFC and how they're the favorites in the AFC because of what they've been able to do year after year after year. Why do you believe that the Chiefs are the favorite in the AFC?
Well, first off, I'm gonna go back to what you just said about the Steelers. That's exactly why I think the Ravens have a chance. I don't believe in the Steelers. I don't care. I just don't. Tomlin's a hell of a coach. Like seriously, like he really is. Like he's a great coach. But Aaron Rodgers is 40, 41. I'm just not believing in the Steelers. They've shown us they can start off 11-1 and not do anything after that. So that's why I still got faith in my Ravens. But to your point, I think at this point I got the Chiefs as the favorites just because I'm just kind of confused on the NFL period right now. To what D'Lo was saying earlier, the Colts. I'm not sold on them. I was sold on the Chargers, but now they're super banged up. The Bills were looking good, but now they're looking shaky. I mean, they looked shaky night 1 when we were blasting them before the fourth quarter. So the Broncos are taking steps. That defense is legit. Bo Nix just has to catch up. He has to catch up with the defense. And they have to get some receivers there as well. Um, yeah, I'm just looking around the AFC, and there's just too many questions. Jaguars, are they legit? The Texans, can CJ Stroud finally wake up? And then on the NFC as well, I thought the Eagles were gonna, you know, kill kill it and get back to the Super Bowl. They're not looking too good. They're having chemistry issues. The Vikings having quarterback issues. Falcons are rising up. There's so many questions around the NFL. But one thing, like you said, Jamal, we can't question is Patrick Mahomes. Now, I hate to glaze or whatever the case may be, but the dude been in the Super Bowl 5 times out of the 7 appearances he's made the AFC Championship. Like, dude, 28, 29. Like,
Just turned 30.
it's
Just turned
truly
30.
insane. It's truly insane. He's done some my career type of stuff, and he's had the continuity as well. Like that's something a lot of players in this league haven't hasn't had. They've had the same coordinators, they've had the same coach. So, and they're getting healthier, they're getting stronger. Um, it's just until I see another team other than the Chiefs consistently do it, maybe by week 10, if the Colts is still one loss team, maybe I'll put them in there. But like Jamal said, man, he does the most because he has a Cardinals hat. He has a Cardinals hat, and he
Oh,
just
hold on. You know
he just
what?
did a
You're right.
whole lot of clobbering, whole lot of clobbering for Patrick Mahomes. That was pretty crazy. But with that being said, man, he's the new Tom Brady right now. But hold on, before I give it off to D'Lo, there was some pretty questionable officiating in that game. Travis Kelsey, that was not a catch. Juju cheap shot in Brian Branch.
Hold on. No, no,
That was a
no,
cheap shot. That's cheap
Brian
shot.
Brandt's cheap shot juju
No, in the game. In the
in the
game.
game.
Yeah. Juju cracked him and they did not call it. It was a block in the back. They did not call it.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of calls that were not called. So let's just throw that out there. The Chiefs are back because guess what? They're getting their way.
Hey, you know what? Okay, I won't disagree that there was some interesting calls in the game, but I also not gonna say that the referees are the reason the Chiefs won or the Lions lost the game. I won't go as far as saying that. Obviously, and I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but I won't go as far as that. I will say there was some questionable calls. D'Lo, you are obviously not a believer in the Kansas City Chiefs. Why?
I think the both of y'all touched on it with two of your words here. Jamal's with the if they make those plays, and Kyson saying consistency. They have not been consistent this year, and it's been really ugly to see, especially defensively. We talk about how good they were on Sunday night, but just last week they lost to Jacksonville. And I get it, Jacksonville, they're playing good right now, but that's one of those teams where you expect to go out and you expect to beat that team, and they didn't. And there were plays that were made. Obviously, there was the one clip of Chris Jones that went viral, of him essentially just giving up on that touchdown for Trevor Lawrence. But those are some of the issues that in my mind are plaguing me right now, because there are times where the Chiefs look like this, like they did on Sunday night, and they look like the Chiefs of old. And then the next game, they come out and they put up a stinker. And it's just too inconsistent for me to sit here and claim that they are the ultimate favorite. I understand you have Patrick Mahomes, but we've said it over and over with all of these other quarterbacks. You can't be Superman every game. There was a quarterback that you would want to have to be Superman every game. I'm pretty sure we all would pick Patrick Mahomes to be that guy, but he can't do it either. We've seen it time and time again in these Super Bowls where he cannot be Superman against these elite level teams. And so regular season, it's fine. AFC, it's fine. But there's this times where he goes up against these teams and someone fails. And that for me is just why I'm not really big on them this year.
Now, it makes sense. It makes sense because you're absolutely right. Although Patrick Mahomes may be the best quarterback in football, he cannot do it by himself. Nobody's ever been able to do it by themselves. Even the greatest of all time, as much as saying that hurts my heart, Tom Brady was never able to do it by himself. So the rest of the Chiefs are going to have to follow along. But again, that's a very good offense that the Chiefs just ran into. A very good offense. They held them to 17 points. Very good run offense that the Chiefs just ran into. And they held that run game pretty well. Just as much as the pass game. But the consistency now, D'Lo, is where you get me. Because if that defense is not able to consistently stop other teams from scoring as many points, that's where the problem is going to lie. That's where the problem is going to lie. And so if they're able to do that, they'll be successful.
When has the Chiefs defense since Patrick Mahomes been there? When have they been this all-world defense? Well, I think last year was one of the best defensive years.
They were top 10 defense last year. They're pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. But in terms of like being like, like the Philadelphia Eagles type of defense, that Buccaneers defense that Tom had, they've never had that type of defense yet.
Never.
So they've always had like a top, like Jamal said, top 10, maybe top 8, top 7 max defense, and that's all you really need. I mean, Jalen Hurts needs a top 1 defense. No disrespect to him. But
ultimate disrespect to him. Ultimate disrespect to him.
No, I mean he does, and he's showed you why the past few weeks. He really he honestly. That's I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. Jalen Hurts, again, this top 5 quarterback discussion that Jalen Hurts has been in needs to be done and over with. Jalen Hurts is no longer in that. Huh?
Top 5?
Top 5 worst? I mean, he could possibly be in that conversation. I'll throw him in that conversation. Listen, I'm just keeping it a buck. Actually, you know what? To quote Cam Ward, he had a very good quote this year. Now, again, I'm going to rephrase it a little bit. I quote, to keep it a buck, Jalen Hurts his ass. That's just, I'm keeping it a buck. That Jalen Hurts looks awful. Awful. I don't know. I don't know. It's if you give Patrick Mahomes now, again, I also saw a post. Sorry to keep rambling. I saw a post of like the post said a list. This is a list of quarterbacks that could go and win a Super Bowl in replacement of Jalen Hurts, and it had like 18 quarterbacks on that list. Like it's Jalen Hurts is not looking very good.
He's not wrong.
D-Lo. Oh yeah. See, like I don't know. But real quickly, let's talk about these Monday night games. The Buffalo Bills went out and put up an absolute stinker. And of course, it was for me to go 4-0, and I thought was the biggest lock of the week, and apparently not. The Buffalo Bills went into ATL and got beat 24-14 behind Bijan Robinson's 170 yards rushing, a total of 228 total yards. He also had 68 yards receiving. He's that, we can have this conversation. You know what? We can have this conversation right now. We'll talk about the Bills in a second here. D-Lo, you mentioned Jonathan Taylor being one of the best, if not the best running backs in football. Where does Bijan Robinson land on that list in terms of the best running backs in football?
I honestly think he's in the top 5. And he might be pushing top 3. I think in terms of just what he can do on both sides. If we're okay, let's define this conversation here. Are we talking just this year? Are we talking since the span that he's been in the league? Where's the line?
Right now, as we look at the NFL.
Right now, then yes, he's pushing the top 3. I would probably might even have him at 3 because Saquon hasn't been doing it this year. Derrick Henry has had some fumbling issues. Really the only consistent running back that I've seen and that I can remember off of the top of my head that's just consistently performing game in and game out is JT. And he gives you it on both sides. He gives you it in the run game, and he for sure gives you it in the pass game. That's why Michael Penix is doing pretty okay right now because he's got this Bijan Robinson outlet. He's phenomenal in both ways, and he's so elusive too. And he showed you that, and it kind of made a fool of that Buffalo defense.
Kyson, I'll keep it simple. What is going on with Buffalo? What is happening in Buffalo? Josh Allen did not look very good at all yesterday. What's going on with that team right now?
Josh Allen is back. The true Josh Allen. The real Josh Allen. 4 interceptions in 3 games. He is back. Okay? We need to look. I just gave him praise earlier when in the Baker conversation, right? When I said he can get it done with less. But for how long? I know y'all been seeing that meme with the little rabbit with the clock. How long can he do it? Y'all need to get this man a receiver. Point blank and simple. Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. Yes, he looked good against the Ravens defense. Anyone looked good. If you ain't look good against the Ravens defense, you should be fired. Yes. Like, seriously, Sean McVay, you need to do some cutting because y'all should have had like 40 on Sunday. With that being said, my son just took some steps. We trying to get this little mug to walk.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, but back to what I was saying. Yeah,
But
if
I
you're
love
not
that.
cooking against the Ravens, then you shouldn't belong in the league. So, well, I lost my train of thought.
Life of a
Who,
father.
wait, who we talking about again?
The Bills.
The
The
Bills.
Bills. Yeah, right. The
The
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, they need a receiver. Point blank and simple. It was looking like Miami was going to throw them Tyreek Hill, but that won't happen. They need to do some soul searching because if they can't get the run going with James Cook, then they're out of options. Josh Allen does not like to run anymore, apparently. And that's smart of him. He's getting older. He's 6'5". He's a big dude. You know, him running um 8, 9 times a game isn't smart of him, and he has a cannon. So with that being said, you got to get him a deep threat. You got to get him somebody that can consistently go and get it. In the beginning of his career, he had Emmanuel Sanders. He had John Brown. He had speedsters. He would just launch it to. He does not have anyone on his team that can go do that. He just has a bunch of guys that can go dink and dunk, 5 yard ends, digs, comebacks. Nothing. He can't throw a nine. He just can't. And that defense is shaky. We've been saying this. The defense is shaky. Um, they're older and they're just not getting it done. And again, they would look a lot worse if the Ravens took care of business. Is that they've been riding momentum and they had an easy stretch of games after that. And that was why they were undefeated. But now the real test begins. They got a tougher schedule coming up. And Josh Allen, like I said, he's back, baby. He's back. If they don't get him a deep threat, a true receiver, one of the two, then it's going to look like this for the rest of the season.
Hey, man, I know there's one guy in Philadelphia.
No, don't, no, no,
You,
no, no, no,
you
no,
leave
no,
you
no,
leave him
no.
in Philly. Leave him in Philly.
Yeah, yeah,
Be
no,
perfect.
no, no.
Leave him in
Oh
Philly.
my God.
No, there's
Don't
one
nobody.
guy in
Yeah,
Philly who's
yeah.
not
Leave him
happy
in
He,
Philly.
right now.
look, Bateman, Mark Andrews, first rounder. Come on,
All right,
come on,
Bateman,
man.
Mark
AJ.
Andrews.
Zay in the slot, AJ on the outside. Ooh,
Nobody want them old.
I was gonna say Rashad Bateman got
first
bricks for
round,
hands,
bro.
and Mark Andrews is a zillion years old. Yeah, that you might throw another first in there if that's all you giving up. Keep it stat.
Keep it a
But
Take Roquan
stack.
too. Take Roquan, man. I'm sick of him.
oh, you
No, also
don't yeah,
old.
come
Come
on,
on.
dog. Yeah, but I don't know. Roquan's still nice though. He's still
See,
nice.
man, see what Zach Orr and John Harbaugh has done. I'm sick of these
Hey,
guys,
listen, the Bills they's not looking like AFC contenders anymore. At least the past 2 weeks. Now, again, one I guess maybe 2 games does not define a team, but the Patriots I kind of understand. They're a division opponent. They play hard. The Patriots are a very underrated football team. That I understand. The Falcons got shut out 30-0 by the Carolina Panthers, who apparently might be a good football team. But the Carolina Panthers shut you out 30-0. The math ain't adding up. Math ain't adding up. So for Buffalo to go into Atlanta and lose like that on prime time on Monday night, little iffy on that. But I guess, again, one team or one game, I guess now 2 games doesn't define a team. What defines a team is what they do after those. But if they lose this week, and I don't know who they have this week, but if they lose again this week and make that 3 in a row, there are going to have some awkward conversations in Buffalo. There are going to be some very uncomfortable conversations had there in
Jamal,
upstate
I
New
think they're on
York.
a bye.
your Bills on the bye.
Bills on a bye
Okay.
week.
Do
Yeah,
you
they're gonna have to
think
get right after the bye.
you
They
think Sean
play the
McDermott?
Panthers right after.
Think Sean McDermott's on the hot seat?
Oh yeah,
He's been
100%.
on the hot seat since last year.
100. Yeah, and if they didn't make Kyson Adilo, if they didn't make the AFC Championship last year, he'd be gone.
He'd be out of here.
He'd be gone. And if he doesn't make it again this year,
He's out of here. Even if he makes it this year, he might be out of here.
pretend this was pink. Pretend this was pink. Hey Sean, step into my office, buddy. Here you go. It's pink slip.
Come make this defense great again.
Man, it's that.
Yeah.
See, that's where Yeah, that's where it gets interesting. So this team is going to have to
They
make
got
a
the
Super Bowl
Panthers
run.
coming out of the bye. So if they don't beat the Panthers coming off of a bye week,
Oh boy.
we can have some conversations.
Oh boy. All right. Lastly, in terms of the games that we will be talking about, is the Chicago Bears defeating the Washington Commanders in a game that I'm sure they had circled on their calendar from last year. Obviously, losing on that last second Hail Mary. Caleb Williams looked pretty good in this. It was raining, and he was still able to throw the ball efficiently. 17 to 29, 252, a touchdown. DeAndre Swift looked really, really good, fellas. 14, 108, 7.7 yards a carry. He looked really, really good. And through the air, I mean, Caleb kind of spread it out. Luther Burden got a few. DeAndre Swift did pretty well through the air. He got a big play. And on the other side, Jane Daniels, 211, 3 touchdowns, the 1 interception, the 2 turnovers from Jane Daniels is really what cost them this football game, gentlemen. That fumble late in the game that led to the Bears going down the field and kicking that last second field goal was really what really, really hurt them. But the Bears, I mean, they've looked decent this season. They obviously started off 0-2. They've won 3 straight. Again, ugly wins, but they are wins. So I think they're going to have to get more efficient offensively and even defensively. But Kyson, when you look at this game, when you look at this win that the Bears were able to sneak away with, what did you take away from this game?
Yeah, it was a great game. I think both teams were prepared for this. One thing I'm noticing with the Commanders, they get off to a slow start. Um, they get down 10, 12 points, and then they just shoot out a rocket in the third quarter and go on a 20-0 run. But as you said, Jamal, man, those turnovers were crucial. And in the game of football, in the game of sports, you turn the ball over. It's not about when you do it. It's not about doing it. It's about when you do it. And doing it with 3 minutes left in the game, gave the Bears all the momentum they need. DeAndre Swift was killing it, was just pounding them on the ground. And when it's raining, it was pretty rainy in Washington, I believe they were in. It was pretty rainy, so when you're getting pounded in that rain, it's just miserable. And they the Commanders felt it. That D line felt it, and which is why the Bears were able to close out the game. Um, Fantasy wise, I was not pleased with Rome Doomsday only getting 5 points. I think he only had like 2 catches for the whole
You
game.
know
So
what?
Caleb, y'all need to y'all need to get y'all need to get back on point. Seriously.
Real quick, D'Lo, but that's a great. I'm glad you brought that up because I also have a fantasy problem. I needed 12 points. 12 points from Kyle Pitts. He got me 2.
Hey,
Kyle,
Kyle Pitts.
can you
He's
step
been
into
doing
my
it for
office?
years. He's been doing it for years. Don't know why you picked him.
Yeah, why would you?
I don't
Yeah,
know why. Okay. Now, in my defense, I forgot to draft a tight end, and so round 8, round 9 came around, and I said, okay, you know what? Maybe I should draft. You know what, Kyle Pitts? Maybe this is the year he breaks out.
And you know
And look,
what? You always take a rookie tight end because it's looking like the trend.
apparently Tyler Warren is
Brock
just
Bowers
gone.
last year, Tyler Warren this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
D'Lo, the Bears have won 3 in a row. They are playing some pretty good football here at the moment. Can you see them sneaking into the playoffs? I don't think they're going to win the division because I think there are 2 teams that are much, much better than they are in the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. But can you see the Bears sneaking into one of those wild card spots?
Yeah, and I coming into this season, I thought all 4 teams in that division could potentially vie for a playoff spot. And it was all dependent on how the new guys played. Obviously, with the Lions, you're looking at head coach changes. In Green Bay, you add Micah Parsons to that defense. In Minnesota, you add JJ
one walk.
McCarthy. And then in Chicago, you have this totally revamped offensive line. And so all of them are kind of playing with a different set this year. And it started out really slow for them. But now it's starting to get on pace, right? DeAndre Swift had an amazing game on um, I say on Monday like it wasn't yesterday. He had an amazing game yesterday, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game. He had 2 receptions for 67 yards, one of which was a touchdown. So um, you have to look at that. But the main thing that I'm worried about is Caleb Williams' connection with his receivers. You go out and you pay a lot of capital to go get DJ Moore to be your number one. And ever since he's been in Chicago, he has not looked like the number one. You spend a high draft pick to go out and get Roma Dunze, and he started this year really well. And now he's sort of scaled back. And it looks like Caleb lost that connection there. You spent a pick on a tight end who isn't and the rookie tight end that we thought he was going to be. So that's the part where I'm worried. But coming in, I feel like we all knew that the Bears defense would be the Bears defense. They've just been good for years. They're good year in and year out for whatever reason. I don't know what they're feeding out there in that Chicago defense, but um, I think if they could find that connection again with Caleb and the receivers in particular, I think the Bears could be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, if Caleb is able to take that year one and year two jump and consistently play at that high level, I think the ceiling. I don't think there's a ceiling for the Bears in terms of their offense. I love Caleb Williams. I really, really, really do believe he is a generational talent. He just has to perform and show that on a consistent basis. And if he's able to do that, I absolutely think they can sneak into a wild card spot. I mean, and especially when the Cowboys are kind of iffy, and some of these other teams are looking iffy, I think they can sneak into one of those spots. The Commanders are looking iffy, so I think they could easily sneak into one of those spots. All right, fellas, time for our last segment of the show. And since usually it's D'Lo and I, but Kyson is here today, so he will be joining in on the poll of power for NFL Week 6. All right, poll of power is the list in which we rank our top 5 NFL teams. This is the GSM Power Rankings. We are going to tell you who the best teams are in the NFL from 5 to 1. We will all alternate until we get to the very best team in the NFL that we all believe is number 1. So, fellas, let's start at number 5. David Largo, do you have, or you know what, we could throw, do we want to throw honorable mention in there this week?
We could throw an honorable mention in there.
Do you have an honorable
We can
mention?
do it. I think I do.
Who is your honorable mention?
Mine is going to go to the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Really, really like what they're doing out in Seattle. The defense has sort of picked it up in the past few weeks. Sam Darnold is finding his footing in Seattle, especially with JSN, like we mentioned. I think that they are on a roll to sort of steamroll the rest of the NFC West and be just the best team in the division.
Kyson, do you have an honorable mention before we get to the top 5 teams in the NFL?
Oh man, my honorable mention right now, man, this is tough. Man, this top 5 is going to be tough. Um, my top 5 honorable mention right now is the Jaguars. Yes, they did lose to the Seahawks. Here's honorable mention, but man, they've been playing some good football, in my opinion. They're a sleeper team to get in the AFC and possibly challenge Patrick Mahomes, challenge one of these top quarterbacks with that defense. And as long as Trevor Lawrence does his thing, doesn't turn the ball over, and can finally get a connection with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, uh, Parker Washington, etc., and get the ball rolling offensively, then I think the Jaguars can do something special. But that's my honorable mention for the week.
Now, this is interesting. We all have different honorable mentions because my honorable mention for week 6, and I'm sure Kevin is going to love this if and when he sees this, I have the New England Patriots as my honorable mention. They've been playing some good football. They go into Buffalo last week and beat the Buffalo Bills, again, an AFC contender, the team that was in the AFC Championship last season. They go in there and they just outplay them. They outplayed them, they out-physicaled them, and they went into Buffalo and beat Buffalo straight up. I do like the way that they're playing. Drake May looks like he is taking and has taken that year 2 jump so far this season. Now, if he can keep it consistent, I think that team has a very good chance to make the playoffs, to win 10 or 11 games and make the playoffs. But that's my honorable mention for this week. The New England Patriots. Shout out, Kev. Now, let's get to number 5. David Largo, your 5th best team in the NFL is...
Some controversy considering how they've performed the last 2 weeks, but I still have the Bills in my top 5. I can't just ignore the first 4 weeks like they didn't happen. And the first 4 weeks they looked incredible. They looked like the team to beat in the AFC, and now they sort of hit a rough patch. In the past 2 weeks, we talked about it. They've been really, really bad, but can't just give up hope after 2 weeks. And I still feel like this is one of the teams to beat in the AFC. Same way with how Maul feels about the Chiefs. That's kind of how I feel about the Bills. I feel like they have enough to get it done this year. So not going to give up on them. However, they have definitely slid following our last poll of power. So,
Kyson, your number 5 is...
Your honorable mention, Jamal, the Patriots. I think the Patriots are a top 5 team. The reason why I think they're a top 5 team is defensively. They get it done. Vrabel's got that defense rolling. D-line, they made some much needed improvements with Milton. And those guys are rolling. The secondary was already solid. They just needed some D linemen to get after the quarterback and stop the run, most importantly. Um, they've had some big wins these past couple weeks, and Drake May, he may be the real deal. And that last year's draft class, they've all looked well. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Drake May, JJ. He still has something to prove, but overall that draft class has been doing good. But with that being said, I got the Patriots as my 15 this week.
All right. I also have an AFC team and my number 5, except they are from Indiana. I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 5. They have been playing some good football all year. I understand some people, including these 2 gentlemen that I am currently having a conversation with, might have them a little bit higher. I just have the other teams a little bit better that are in my list. The Colts have been playing some good football all year. They've beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they've done it handedly. And they've also beat some good teams. They beat the Broncos, who are going to be competing for a wild card spot, if not the AFC West division. They've been playing some good football. They beat the Cardinals, and they put up 31 against the Cardinals, whose defense was leading the NFC in terms of points allowed going into week 6. So, and again, the teams the only loss that they had was to the Rams, and the Rams have been playing some pretty good football for the most part throughout this season. So I like the Colts at number 5. Number 4, David Largo goes to...
and this really pains me to say it because I hate Kevin and his team so much, and I hate Drake May with a passion. But I have to put him here. It's the New England Patriots. They're on a 3-game win streak, and they started off slow, but they've picked it up recently. Drake May looks like he's found his connection with Stephon Diggs. The defense is now looking a lot better now that Gonzo is in the lineup. They look good. Mike Vrabel's doing a good job over there. And like Kevin said, he's not really, like this be-all mastermind coach, but he's definitely a player coach, and you can see it.
Yeah.
They look like they're playing with a lot of energy, and they made a really good selection in the draft because that rookie tackle over there he's playing a really good job over there. So
Joe Campbell, at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, hate to do it. I really hate to do it, and it hurts my soul. They are number 4.
Yeah, they're playing some good football this year. They really are. Kyson, numero cuatro in your polar power is.
Man, I've been going back and forth a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the Buccaneers on my fourth spot, and you guys probably got them higher, but I got them at fourth just because Baker Mayfield has been killing it. He's been rolling. The offense is on offense. You know, they got Mike Evans, Godwin, Emeka Buka, and then the backups they do their thing. They got Bucky Irvin when he's healthy. Rashad White, you know, he's a formidable back when he has to do his thing. Even Sean Tucker, I think that's his name.
Yep.
He gets when he's in the game, he gets his work in. That's a good football team. Next man up. No matter who's in there, let's get it done. And I commend that team a lot. That's my fourth bet team just because the defense I'm not all the way sold on. They don't really have much of a pass rush. So yes, they have Antoine Winfield and good DBs and good backers, but Levante David, but they can only do so much work when the D line is not doing their job. So Bucks they would be higher if their D line if Vita Vea has some help on the edge, they would be higher. But for now, I got the Buccaneers at fourth.
All right. Number 4. I have the Detroit Lions at my number 4 spot. They are 4-2 after week 6. I know they're coming off the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. I understand that, but in their 4 games prior, they put up 52 points, 38 points, 34 points, and 37 points. I'm not just going to discredit that. That is one of the best, if not the best, offense in football. Their defense is slowly coming along as they get healthier. But that team is so physical. They out physical everybody. They outwork everybody for the most part. Again, they're an NFL team still, so they are also going up against other NFL teams who also get paid. It like for example, the Chiefs and the Packers. But yeah, the Detroit Lions are number 4 on my list. They are still one of the best teams in the NFL and absolutely one of the best teams in the NFC. Number 3, D'Lo, is who?
Yeah, I've still got the Lions in my top 3, and it's for the exact reason that you mentioned. I can't just ignore the fact that they had one bad game after putting up this massive streak of just so many points. And the thing that kind of worries me with the Lions is that it's almost looking like they're going away from this two-back system. If you look at the split carry on Monday, David Montgomery had what, 4 carries to Jameer Gibbs's 17.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what made them so dynamic in the first place, is that they were splitting and you could never truly tell what they were running based off of just the backfield. And so that kind of worries me a little bit. Maybe that's why they got really predictable on Sunday night, but I can't overlook the fact off of one game that they've just been really good this season. And I kind of tussled with also throwing their division rival, the Packers, here in this spot. But I just like the offense of the Lions just a little bit more. Jordan Love has been pretty shaky with his no receivers, Green Bay over there. So, I have the Lions at 3.
Kyson, the third best team in the NFL in your polar power is.
The Indianapolis Colts. I got the Colts third. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, doing his thing. Looking revived, looking like Josh Allen Jr. out there running, throwing the ball to good receivers, Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell, Pittman, Tyler Warren, the rookie, Alec Pierce, the deep threat. You know, they got offenses loaded. Offensive line, especially. That's when you got a good offensive line, you have to be a top 10 team, bare minimum. And the offensive line is backloaded, back bullying people, and so is the D line. The D line does the bulk of the work. You know, the secondary is pretty average. Yes, they do get interceptions, but that's because the D line is nine times out of ten wreaking havoc. Um, they do have holes. Like I said, they're not all the way a great defensive team, but when you have an offense that rarely turns the ball over, that can run the ball and run it efficiently, then you are a team to be reckoned with. And at the current moment in time, I know I said I had the Chiefs as the favorite to come out the AFC. The Colts are my best team in the AFC right now.
You mentioned them, Kyson. My number 3 team is the Kansas City Chiefs. They have, again, they've been up and down this year, but recently they have looked more and more like the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelsey isn't exactly turning back the clock, but he doesn't look like he's getting too much older. He looks like he doesn't look like he needs a cane anymore. And he had a pretty decent game on Sunday. But the defense looks good. I just mentioned the Detroit Lions, who I have at number 4, but the Lions, who just scored more than 30 points the last 4 weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs defense held them to 17. That in itself, to me, is very impressive, and I think is a big reason why, other than 15, but is a big reason why I have the Chiefs at number 3. But I really, really, really do like the Chiefs and their defense. Number 2, D'Lo, is who?
One more thing, because you may know, and I think I remember seeing this. Rasheed Rice is coming back soon, right?
I'm glad you
This
mentioned
week,
that. He's coming back next week, or this coming up
Yeah.
week.
So
Yep.
that offense might
So,
look even better.
yep, 100% agree. Wholeheartedly agree.
M- My number 2 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Um, As we were talking about, I think Baker is probably the front runner for MVP right now. He's been playing out of his mind. Um, And the only game that he's lost right now is to the Eagles. And that was before the Eagles started to, look like the Eagles that we kind of know them to be. Frauds, by the way.
Yep.
And the fact that he's doing it with all of these backup guys, I think, is the most impressive. Still no Chris Godwin. He didn't have any Mike Evans last week. Bucky Irving has been out the past couple of weeks. And as Tyson mentioned, the defense it's not bad, but it's also not this elite level defense like we know from, the Tom Brady era of Tampa Bay. And so the fact that they're still pulling out these close games um, is really a testament to how good that he's been. Um, would like to see them kind of blow out some teams to show that they can do it instead of winning all of these close games. But it's the teams that win the close games that show that they're the best. And he's been able to do it so far. And I mean, you got to give it up for him. That offensive line has really given him a lot of time. And when they haven't, he's just turned into prime Josh Allen for whatever reason. So, yeah, I've got Tampa Bay at my number 2.
Kyson, numero dos.
I think my 1 and 2 is pretty interchangeable, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the Packers at my number 2 spot. Just because of that tie with Dallas is still kind of lingering. Um, we all thought Dallas offense is legit, no doubt about it. But we thought Michael Parsons coming to Green Bay was gonna be, you know, record breaking. And it's been good. It's been good. They're winning games, but um, this is a good team. This is a good team, but they're not the best team. And the reason why they're not the best team is to what D'Lo just said, the receiver situation. Um, Matthew Golden is a beast. Like every time you got the ball,
Yeah.
good things happen. He's your number one. You don't draft a receiver number in the first round, and especially in 2025, you don't draft a receiver in the first round and not feed him and not treat him as such. So that's my only issue with the Packers. Other than that, I think offensive line is good, D line obviously good, defense is very very solid. Um, I just think that Jordan Love he has to get more consistent. He was people's very very early MVP favorite, and I think he can get back into that. But um, I think him and Lafleur want two different things. we talk about it with Harbaugh. Derrick Henry's winning you the game, but you want Cooper Rush to win you the game. LaFleur, he wants to win the game with his coaching versus having this great quarterback that you have. And it's fine. Whatever gets you wins, do it. Keep doing it. Because Josh Jacobs, he's balling. So ride that wave as long as you can. And I think Jordan Love, as soon as he gets on the same page as not only his receivers, but his coach as well, I think the Packers can shoot up to the number one spot. But for now, there's two for me.
Well, I guess it is true what they say. I guess great minds really do think alike, because I also have the Green Bay Packers at my number 2 spot in terms of the best teams in the NFL. Listen, the Packers are one of the most well-rounded teams, if not the most well-rounded team in the NFL. When you go down, when you look at coaching, when you look at personnel, when you look at talent, when you look at leadership, there are no holes in this football team. Again, maybe the wide receiver position, but even then it's so spread out. There's a lot of talent within that wide receiver room. It's just not overbearing talent. When you look at Romeo Dobbs, when you look at Matthew Golden, like Kyson mentioned, their number 1 overall pick, or not their first round pick this year. They are very deep in the wide receiver room for the most part. They just don't have a certified number 1 guy. Obviously, you have Josh Jacobs, who is a top 5, top 10 ish running back in football, who can go put up 100, 20, 130, couple touchdowns on his best day. And the defense. Now, the defense isn't what it was, right? The defense, it's not what it showed in week 1 against the Detroit Lions. When you saw Micah Parsons wreak havoc against Jared Goff, when you saw Rashawn Gary and these other guys absolutely be menacing towards that Lions offense. But the back end scares me a little bit, fellas. The back end scares me. Now, Xavier McKinney is very, 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 very good. He's one of the best safeties in football. The corners, Eric Stokes, okay, he's all right, but that's about all they have in that back end. It really is. So the back end of that team is going to have to get better in terms of the secondary. But Jordan Love can go win you a football game. He's that good. He's a top 10 quarterback in football, borderline top 5. Matt LaFleur is one of the best head coaches in football. He can go win you a football game. So this team is so well-rounded and so just put together so well that they are, again, my number 2 in terms of the pull of power. Who is the best team in football? David Largo. Who is number 1?
I have the Indianapolis Colts, my number 1. And a lot of people are going to call me crazy for that, simply based off of the competition that they've faced. Obviously, week 1, you had the Dolphins. Week 3, you had the Titans. Week, 5, you had the Raiders. I mean, those are all easy, winnable games, right? So they should be 3-0 with those games, but it's the other games, right? They went out and we talked about that Broncos defense, which is one of, if not one of the best defenses in the league right now, and they beat them.
Yep.
They were a few mistakes away, and those were self-inflicted from beating the Rams in Los Angeles. And we just talked about it today. They went and they beat Arizona, who has been a really great defense, as Maul mentioned. Specifically in the NFC, they've been the best, right, in terms of points allowed. So those 3 wins are or 3 games are sort of solidifying it to me that they can compete with these higher end teams. And obviously the lower end teams, they've blown them all out, right? The Dolphins game, they won by 25. The Titans game, they won by 21. The Raiders game, they won by 34. So they're blowing out these lesser teams and they're keeping it competitive with these other teams and winning those games. And to me, that's the key. They also have the biggest points for to points against differential of almost 80 points. And that leads the league. And so for me, they've just been really solid on both ends. And until I see something that tells me otherwise, I'm in on the Colts.
David Largo has the Indianapolis Colts, the surprise of the season. I think what a lot of people would say, the Indianapolis Colts is the best team in football so far through week 6. Kyson, who is the best team in the National Football League?
The Baltimore Ravens, baby, we back. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's gonna close out the show. I hope everybody enjoyed. Um,
On a serious note, my best team is the Detroit Lions. And the reason why the Lions are my best team is because they are the right now. I say you can interchange them in the Packers. You could put the Packers one, but for me, I got the Lions slight edge because continuity. I think they're the best team that was good last year and still good this year. They didn't lose really too much besides the coordinators and coaches. In terms of talent, they've added, if anything. And the defense is back healthy and they're back activated. Now I get it. They just lost to Patrick Mahomes at home. That's a hard feat to do. To beat Patrick Mahomes at home is not easy to do. So I'm not gonna knock that loss against them. But overall, they have just looked like the best team coming in and not losing too much. The Eagles, um, we thought they would. The Eagles should be at least 1, 2 losses. They shouldn't be. I mean, they do have 1 or 2 losses, but they just haven't looked good at all. Even the wins haven't looked good. I think the Lions have played their brand of football. Um, the only thing I would agree with D'Lo is that I think they do need to get Demont back involved in the run game. Um, I used to hate it actually because I had Jameer Gibbs last season in fantasy, but in reality, it worked out for them. They had Demont basically the first half get all the carries, and then they closed it out with Gibbs, and it would throw teams off. So I think they should go back to implementing the two back system. Um, and Hutchinson, one of the best edge rushers in the league. He's killing it. And yeah, I got the Lions best team. Just simply, I'm just confused, y'all. I'm very confused in the season. I still don't know who's good. I still don't know who's
yep.
truly bad. So
Yep.
I'm rolling with the team that came in with mostly the same squad, just added some pieces, and they've looked good so far. So that's why Lions are my best team so far.
Okay, boys, this might be a first. This honestly might be a first. We all have different number one power ranking teams because I believe that the best team in football is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 5-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are rolling right now. Obviously, Baker Mayfield is playing at an MVP level right now. This team, I mean, they are well coached. Todd Bowles is one of the best head coaches in football, and I believe if they keep up this pace, he will be able to win his first ever Coach of the Year. But this team is playing some really good football right now. When you look top to bottom, obviously they are very also injury riddled with Bucky Irving out. Mike Evans been out the last few weeks. Chris Godwin yet to make his season debut. And now Emeka Ibuka with this hamstring injury. It's not looking very promising, and they're still winning games. And it's not like bad teams. Like Mac Jones was undefeated this season so far with the 49ers, and he came in and got beat by Baker Mayfield and the rest of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this defense of the Buccaneers isn't too shabby either. Obviously, Vita Vea is one of the best defensive linemen in football, especially interior defensive linemen. Yaya Diaby, I think, is very underrated on the edge. I think he's a very, very, very good pass rusher. Still have Levante David. They went out and signed Hassan Reddick this year, who's, again, a really, really good pass rusher. You still have Antoine Winfield, who's one of the better safeties in football. Jamel Dean, the defense is also pretty good. And again, when you talk about top to bottom, this team has been playing some really, really good football, no matter who they're playing. Obviously, they lost the one game to the Eagles, but the Eagles had to put up a ridiculously good game offensively in order to go win that game against the Bucs. So the Bucs right now, I think, are playing the best football in the NFL, and to me, is the best team in the NFL. So
And the thing to look for with the Bucks is 4 of their next 5 games are really tough.
Yeah.
With 4
Yeah.
of those being, the Lions, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Rams. Those four out of the next 5 games. Obviously, the 5th one being the Saints, but who's really counting the Saints, right?
Oh boy.
Those are tough games. Those are
Yeah.
really tough games. So we'll see how they come out of that. If they come out of that, the very least 2-2.
They're gonna yeah. I think they're still gonna be a top
happy.
5 team in football. Yeah, so that is our poll of power for week 6 of the NFL season. I cannot believe it's already week 6. That is also going to close out this episode of Gumball Sports Machine. I hope you all enjoyed. And of course, as always, I appreciate my guys, D-Lo.
Wait,
Kyson, man.
Pick them?
Oh,
Yeah, we got to do
know
some
what?
pick'ems real quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Close
You want
pick 'em.
to do it right now, or you want to wait till Friday?
We can wait till Friday.
We probably should do it now if any of us want to pick the Thursday game.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Who is it? The Bengals and the
It's
Steelers?
it's the Steelers and the Bengals, which is a freebie.
You think so?
Okay. So you know what?
It's
This
a
is how we'll do
freebie.
it. This is how we'll do the order for this week and for weeks going forward. Now, I'm going to show you guys the list of one more time of our picks from last week. Now, D'Lo and Kyson went 2-2. I went 3-1. I won this past week, so which means one of you two are going to go first for this next week of pick'ems. Now, the way that we're going to decide that is a flip of a coin. So
Tails.
I still
Yeah.
got it. Well, tails.
all right. So hold on. Let me just go ahead and flip a coin. And it is, so I can see that, tails.
Tails.
There you
So
go.
Kyson won. Kyson, are you going? Did you want to pick this game?
No.
Or did you want to? Was that going to be your first pick or no?
No, it wasn't.
No. Okay.
That's a trap
So-
game.
I
I think that's
so-
a trap game.
D'Lo, did you want to pick that game?
No, I didn't want it either.
Okay. Where is this game at? Because do I want to pick this game?
There's 15
In-
now, so
In Cincinnati.
if
There's
you
15.
pick this one, 15 games this week, so we each get 5 here. If you
Okay, so
pick
it has to get
the
picked.
Thursday game, yep,
Including this game, it's 15.
yes, including the Thursday game, it's 15 this week.
Oh man,
You want it as one of your 5?
Stand by, dude. Why do I? Give me the Steelers.
Yeah.
Give me the Steelers. I'll take the Steelers. That's all
hey,
right. Give me
Write
a
that
rock.
down. The rest of our picks will be on Friday.
The rest of our picks will indeed be on Friday. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, shout out to my guys, my brothers D'Lo and Killer Kyson. We will be back Friday night. Let us know in the comments what you think of our poll of power and the rest of our takes. And as always, if nobody else is going to tell you, I'll tell you, you matter. I love you. You're important. You woke up this morning for a reason. You are not done on this earth. So all you have to do is find your purpose, and you will find value. And most importantly, it is nice to be important, but it's much, much more important to be nice. I love y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back on Friday. See you then, fellas.
Gotta find